Hey guys, it's Wednesday morning, so the only brew I can have is a tea. Right, what's been happening? Well, Monday afternoon the door of my shed blew off in the winds. Thankfully my father-in-law was passing by whilst I was at work, and I say it blew off two of its hinges. It's got three hinges and two of them you'd come off two, and it was buckled and bent, the hinges. He just happened to be passing, saw it, stopped, sort of cobbled it back on and bent the hinges back and then left it for me. I then fixed it in the evening. Bit of a excitement there from the winds. Thankfully that was all. Few bottles blown about in here and that was about it, the plastic pet bottles and that. Other than that, it was fine. So damn sight better off than a lot of people with the high winds of late. Anything else? Yes. What am I going to talk about? Yes, my Elderberry Saison. This is I'll come back to that. Today I was supposed to be off and I was going to do my Mango Lassie IPA for the second time. It's the only second brew I will have brewed again, and the other being the Summer Ale from the Bible, and this is the first of my own brews that I'd be happy to brew again and not change anything at all. So, but one of my work colleagues has had to go on paternity this week. I had a baby boy on Monday, and so he's off on paternity. We're only a small business, so I can't have the day off, so I'm a little disappointed at that, but oh well, so that's life. So I don't know now when I'll get to brew again. Possibly this weekend, maybe on the Saturday if I'm lucky, might be allowed. So that's that really. I've got a couple of purchases coming. I bought a pH meter the other day based on a recommendation by Heathen Brewer, Mr. Steve Ogden. It looked really good. So I had a pH meter. It was one of those cheap rubbishy Chinese ones that even when you're putting it in the pH solution to calibrate it, you do it 2 or 3 times, it changed every time. It was just so rubbish really. So hopefully this one will be better. Anything else? Yes, a new tripod, one that comes out to it has a height of 127 centimeters at max, and then shrinks right down. So that hopefully should be useful for getting closer into the brews, to the grandfather brewing, so I can get because I'm having to, like, I've got a little mini tripod, one of those like octopus things that wrap around, and you have to stand it in random places. I can never get it anywhere so it's near and has a good picture, so this will be better. So then we come back to my Elderberry Saison, which at the end of here I'll put some footage on of. I was going to do a grain to glass, but I don't think it's really worth it, and I didn't really take any video footage of the actual brewing, but I did an afterwards of what I'd done differently and such. So we'll go into that, but it's come out, and will right. So now we'll go to the footage of the Elderberry Saison. Alright, I'm making an Elderberry Saison today. I'm not going to film any of the actual brewing, as it's very basic and you've probably seen enough of those as it is. So grain bill, we're going with 4 kilos of Pilsner malt, because I don't really want it, I want it to be clean, dry Saison base. So 4 kilos of Pilsner malt, half a kilo of rye malt to help dry it out even more because we're using elderberries. The hop bill, the hops used are Challenger, and I'm doing a 40 gram at the start of the boil, then 20 grams 10 minutes to go, and then a dry hop with 20 grams. I'm using it up really. just to try something different with it. And then we're going to put a kilo of these little beauties into the fermenter. We're fermenting at 32 degrees with the Y yeast Belgian Saison, and we'll see how we go. So what I've got to do now is I've got to get these into there using a fork and get them off. I'm not sure how many I've got, but I'll give it a weigh in. Right, we're giving me a rough idea. Alright, there's over a kilo there, so once we stripped it down we should be okay. How many is there? What does that say? That's 1.224, right. See you in a bit. Right, we ended it with just under a kilo. That's perfectly fine. And I'll give them a mash. And when the beer's ready, I'll put it in the fermenter with the water, the original water, at the same time as the yeast, and let it do its work. So, and the idea of mashing it is just to give it a chance to flavour the water a bit more. That's really about it. Cheers. Right, cleanup's done pretty much. We're rinsing through now, and we were aiming for 1.054. We came out at 1.054, I think. Yeah, so we're looking at 6.2%. If it attenuates correctly and gets down to 1.006, or I think it's 1.06, so nice and dry, nice and clean and crisp is what we're looking for. I'm assuming it needs to be dry to balance out the fruit that we've put in, the elderberries. So now we wait week, 2 weeks, so I'll be back to you shortly. So now you've seen that, come back, let's talk about it. It's come out pretty poor, 1.018, which isn't anywhere near where I wanted it. It started off at 1.054, down to 1.018, comes out about 4.7%. I was hoping to get it down to 1.008 for a real dry Saison. Problem I think was I used the Y yeast Belgian Saison one, and it was out of date. I knew it was out of date, and I smacked it the night before as I discussed, and it didn't do anything. So it did swell a bit, but not like they do, not like they should. So I went with it, and it got it down a fair bit. Got it down to about 1.024 or something. I then chucked some Kvike yeast in, hoping that would really knock it down. But at this point it was still at 32 degrees, but didn't really do much at all. It's been sat at 1.018 for days. So yeah, disappointed with that. I'm disappointed with the flavour really. The elderberries are more like a cranberry in their flavour, and I was thinking more along the lines of a bramble, because I'd been working with them before when I did my chocolate bramble porter. So I had like an idea of what I was aiming for and how it would work. The malt base was probably based more on what would happen if I'd used brambles really, with the rye, because that comes out quite dry and almost powdery in taste, if that means anything. I mean, it's not powdery, but it's got that dryness of a rye. But it's a bit too much, I think. It needed a citrus bite and tartness to it to override, smooth it a bit, if that makes any sense. Anything different else to it? I dry hopped it as well whilst it was at 32 degrees. I chucked the dry hops in, but at the same time I altered the my Fermi-fridge so that it would drop down to cold crash, so it would go from 32 down. So it would be, the dry hops are planned to be in whilst it cold crashes and drops out. But it's leaf hop, so it never really drops anyway, just getting floats on the top anyway. Has that worked? I'm not sure, because I just chucked them in loose. A few are still just sat almost dry on the top. Normally they'd sort of get wet and drop down, but a bit into the solution. So that hasn't been brilliant either. It's disappointing because this Saturday, a friend of mine and myself were having like a party for our birthday, so to speak. We have a few home brews and then out around in Robin Hood's Bay, which if you've ever been is a nice place to go for a drink. And so I was supposed to be taking some of this, and I'm not sure it's going to be up to it. I might have to just take some of the Quake cider instead. I mean, the cider's nice enough, but I wanted something a bit nicer to take as well. The last beer I took there, that a lot of them have had, was my Mango Lassie IPA, so the standard is quite high for them, so they'll be a bit disappointed I think if I take this, but we'll see. We'll get it kegged and see how it comes out. So that's that really. So happy Homebrew Wednesday everybody. Thank you very much for watching and listening to me waffle. Enjoy the rest of your week. If you're brewing, have fun. I hope it comes out for you. So like, subscribe, comment, and go to Facebook, go to the BrewTube group and join. A lot of content, a lot of brewers, some YouTube, some don't, but we're mainly about the YouTubers, hence the title, but come and check it out. Cheers for now.